Hello ladies, Dr. Palermo coming to you from the home office for the week 3 instructional video for EDCI 702CZ. I hope that you're thawing out. We've missed a couple of days of school in Chatham County for ice and snow, but hope you're thawing out and getting back to things. I've heard from some of you with some illness and issues in families. Good luck and God bless. My thoughts and prayers are with you. Um, at any rate, it is week 3, and week 4, February 5th, we'll be meeting again in Charlotte. But week 3, you have some work to do. You got some readings to do. You should be working on your FCEP and also your PEA. I've moved a couple of the dialogues that were originally posted in week 3 over to week 4. So if you look ahead to week 4, it looks pretty crammed. But a lot of these things, several of these things, we are going to complete in class. So I'll mark those and don't worry about all of that stuff happening in dialogues. It's going to happen a bunch of it in class next Friday, and we'll go to KLA on Keeping Learning Alive conference on Saturday. But for week 3, some readings to do in Drago-Severson and Fitzpatrick, the program evaluation. About that, how do we know that the programs that we utilize in schools, how do we know that they work? We don't. And we switch them very frequently without knowing whether they work or not. The chapters 1 and 2 that were assigned last week in Fitzpatrick should give you an introduction to the history, fairly recent, of a program evaluation, how some different models of program evaluation. And next week, I think you're to read chapters 4 through 7, kind of skimming the different models or types of evaluations that goal-oriented or program-oriented, objectives-oriented evaluations. But how do we know that the programs that we're using work? That's the essence of PE, and make sure that you get that from Fitzpatrick as you're planning your original PE. Next week, when we meet on February 5th, I will ask you to bring something to share with peers about your PEA. So you'll see that the dialogue kind of leads you to answering some of those questions, but look at the rubric and start to think about your PEA. The introduction to Drago-Severson in chapters 1 and 2 is interesting, and again, leading adult learning is one of our core texts, so skim that please, and then check out the e-maze. It's a fancy PowerPoint that summarizes chapters 1 and 2. And again, when you're going to be presenting the pillar practices, read so that you know what the theory is behind those pillar practices. So something else that I want to call your attention to, under course assessment, come on over here and take a look. Under the different evidences and descriptions, Dr. Brown has now loaded some exemplars. I hope there'll be more coming, and I always look at exemplars with a, exemplars are good to give you an idea of how others might have tackled this project, but they shouldn't be cookie cutter and they shouldn't all look the same. So if you can start with the exemplars and that helps you frame your thinking, great. Here are 2 FCEPB exemplars. The first one is college oriented. The second one's a little more traditional, but your FCEP should be demonstrating how you are increasing some aspect of stakeholder involvement, community involvement in your school. The theory is that it takes a village, whether it's a small college or a high school or an elementary school, it takes a village to raise up the children, and how can we collaborate with stakeholders in order to do that. You should have mapped out a plan in your FCEP-A, and you're implementing the plan, recording the results, and reporting on that in your FCEP-B. My advice is don't bite off more than you can chew. If you set up a curriculum night and you're able to implement that and document that, great. That's a great FCEP-B. Don't tackle more than you can honestly chew in the next couple of months. Remember, you're supposed to be implementing this now, soon, and recording the results and reporting on those. So, not a major project. If you do something small but doable, that's okay. So that's it pretty much for this week. Again, I hope that you're thawing out, doing well, your health is improving, if not perfect. Thanks for signing up for the pillar practice um, presentations, and I look forward to seeing you next Friday night, February 5th, in Charlotte, and then back on campus Saturday, February 6th, for the Keeping Learning Alive conference. But I'll have more to say about that next week. See you next week. Write to me if you have any questions. Thanks.